Hello, this is Reverend Joab Kasi from Growth Center Church International. It gives me a lot of pleasure this time to speak to the young people outside there, especially those who are not married. And marriage is a very important institution, and it is important that when you enter into marriage, you know what you are going into. It is an institution that is honored by God. If we have a strong marriage, then most likely we have a stronger family. And when we have a stronger family, definitely we have a stronger church. Unfortunately, most of the youth falter when it comes to choosing a marriage partner. And I want to speak to the girls because I'm a father of girls, so let me begin by speaking to the girls outside there on what to look for in a man before you say yes. And I want to say very strongly that it's a subject that is very close to my heart. And I want to advise the ladies and girls outside there, please take what I'm going to tell you seriously. What are those things that you look for in a man? That you look for in a man before you say yes. Why do I say so? Many people have made mistakes in this position and they have lived to regret. And the way I said, marriage is a very important thing that you do not want just to go there blindly. So number one, let's go straight to the point. Number one, what do you look for in a man before you say yes? The first thing that you look for in a man before you say yes is ensure that the man that you say yes to is a God-fearing man. Get me right. I have not said a man who goes to church. There are many people who go to church, but they don't fear God. Even Satanists go to church. So I'm saying, look for a man who fears God. I have not said somebody who is born again. Because the issue of being born again, people have abused it. And today, everybody is born again. So you're not able to determine who is born again or who is not born again. So to me, the standard is not whether the person is born again or not. The standard is whether the person fears God or not. And I'm saying to the young girls outside there, as you plan to get married, look for somebody who fears God. Not even somebody who has faith in God. There are many people who have faith in God outside there. They will tell you, oh, I believe in God. I know God is there. So that is not the standard. The standard is look for somebody who fears God. And what does it mean to fear God? To fear God means to show reverence to God. Reverence is deep respect for God. If you have somebody who fears God, then the person will be led of God. He will always ask himself, what does God say in this situation? And that is very important. Then somebody who fears God also has the Bible as the final authority. Because there are cases which will come in marriage. There are cases which will come in marriage where you need to determine what is it. And it's always important that you run to God and say, what would God do in such a situation? What does God think in this situation? And what does the Bible say? The Bible is the final authority. So if you're looking for a man to get married to, number one, ensure that the man fears God. Ensure that the man has the Bible as his final authority. Not traditions, not opinions of friends, and not even what our culture and our traditions say. But what does God say? And what does his word, the final authority, the Bible says? If you do that, you will not fall into a trap. You will not miss it. Because as I said earlier, don't even look for a man of God. Because you do not know how this man of God is. Don't even look for a pastor. Because you don't know what this pastor is. And with due respect, really, there are many men of God there who are actually crooks. They are men of God by name. So look for somebody who fears God, who has very high reference for God. And you can always check in the speech, what does the person say about God? But if the person does not mention God in his speech, the person does not seem to show respect to God, then please flee from that person. And when somebody has reference for God, then it means somebody hates sin, because God also does what? God hates sin. So number one, what do you look for a man? Look for somebody who fears God. Number two, look for somebody who submits to an earthly godly authority. That's very important, really. I'm giving you things that will help save you when you enter into marriage. Look for somebody who has a mentor, somebody who has an authority that the person fears, so to speak. So that when things become very difficult, you can run, say, to a pastor, to a bishop, to an apostle. Don't marry a brother who is a freelancer. Ask him first, who is your spiritual father? Ask him, who is your mentor? Whom do you submit to? But if the person tells you, so long as the two of us love each other, the rest doesn't matter, then be very, very careful. Because what happens when things become very difficult in marriage, you have to go to that mentor. And when you go to that mentor, you'll be given advice and your marriage will stand. So please take it very seriously. If somebody does not have a mentor, if somebody does not have a spiritual father or an earthly authority, an earthly godly authority that he submits to, that is not a man who is marriage material. And I tell you the truth, sometimes as a man I speak from a very authoritative point of view. We have men, when it is in courtship, they court like cats. But when they go to marriage, they behave like matrimonial lions. And at that point, you need somebody that you two can go to and say, Papa, Mama, things have become very difficult. What do we do to save this marriage? And that will work. And again, please remember, marriage is not something that you try. You are there for keeps. It's a pipe when you enter. There's no going back. So you better enter when you're sure whom you are entering into with. So number one, again, ladies outside there, look for a man who is God-fearing. Number two, a man who submits to authority on earth. So before you say yes to somebody, ask him, can we go and see my pastor, for example? Can we see my youth pastor? Can we see your youth pastor? That kind of thing is important. But if the person says, no, let's just agree, the two of us, after all, marriage is for two people. No, run away from that person. Number three, look for a person who loves you passionately. In fact, let me reframe that. A person who has passion, deep passion for you. I want to avoid the word love, because the word love has been abused by most people. Most young people just say, I love you, I love you, I love you. But you need somebody who really has deep passion for you and the person who appreciates you. Just the way it says in Proverbs 31:29, that many women have done noble things, but you have surpassed them all. That should be a person who should be able to stand at any time and tell you, for sure, wanawake wengi wamefanya mambo mema, lakini wewe umewapita wote. A guy who has deep passion for you, a person who has deep desire for you. That's the person you go for in marriage. And how do you know that? This person should appreciate you above every other woman. And if you get a person who still has issues with other women, other ladies, then it becomes a big issue. And let us not be cheated, ladies. Men have desires for women. And sometimes they get attracted to women, and they can be attracted to more than one woman. But what we are saying is this person should have you as their number one, so that it is you and you and you alone. I've seen ladies making very dangerous mistakes. That in the process of courtship, you realize that somebody is still she's courting you, and is walking with another lady. They smile in a manner likely to suggest that they are in love, and you still say, when this man gets married, then he'll hang on to you. I tell you the truth, habits are very difficult to break. If peradventure you discover that the man that you intend to get married to seems to have interest in another lady, please stop at that particular point and confirm that you are his number one. If you're not his number one, if there are other ladies in the line, then you better flee. It will even get worse when you get into marriage. Because I speak as a married man again. When you get married, then you discover there are so many other beautiful girls outside there. So if the man is not able to contain himself before he gets married, what assurance do you have that when you get married, then he will contain himself? So look for somebody who has deep passion for you. It doesn't have to be somebody you go to church with. Sometimes I ask people when I'm counseling them, I ask them, why do you think you are meant for each other? The person says, we have the same vision. We sing in the choir together. We go to the same church. Those are baseless reasons to get married. You get married to somebody because he has deep love, deep passion for you. And this person can do all that it takes to be with you and to protect you. So number one, again, I go through the things you look for in a man, a marriage material man. One, ensure that the man fears God. Number two, a man who submits to earthly, godly authority. Then number three, a person who has deep passion for you. And number four for today, look for somebody who is responsible. Somebody who is responsible. And somebody who is responsible is not necessarily somebody who has a car or somebody who has a job, but somebody who takes responsibility. Ladies, please hear me well. It is the responsibility of the man to protect the family and to provide for family. So you don't go to a man who is not able to provide and protect the family. It is very important. And this person, you look at the potential in the person. What has happened, the catastrophe in our times, that we have so many young people who do not want to do anything. They just sit there, they laze around. They don't want to do work. They're just there. And that is the curse of our generation. We have so many young people outside here, born again, speaking in tongues, but they do not want to do something to earn a living. At the end of the day, whether the two of you speak in tongues or not, there's need for food to be put on the table. There will be children, God forbid, who will become sick and they will be to be taken to the hospital. The man must take responsibility. Otherwise, you'll have two babies crying in the house. So it's very important that you get a man who takes responsibility, who is able to do something with his hands. I don't subscribe to the idea that there are no jobs outside there. I've seen very many young people who have gone to school, they have not gotten a job, but they have gotten work to do. So look for work to do, young people outside there. And do not depend on your wife. Granted, you may be a high school leaver and your wife, say, becomes maybe a company manager. There's no harm with that. But as a man, you must be able to bring things on the table. What do you do as a man? So get somebody, ladies, who is responsible. Responsible. Don't marry an irresponsible man. I had a friend at some times in the past, I just don't want to say her name. She said, "Huyu jamaa acha nimhurumie tu. Sasa nisipomuoa nani atamuoa?" You don't marry out of sympathy. Don't. Because then things will become difficult. I know you may say we are fallen in love, but we normally say love is blind, but marriage is an eye opener. And marriage, you don't guess, you don't try. You go into it full swing, because remember, if you are born again, God abhors, God hates divorce, God hates separation. So before you move into this very important institution called marriage, number one, what do you look for a man? Look for somebody who fears God. And I've said, I'm not saying look for somebody who is born again, somebody who fears God. Because there are many people who are born again in course, but they don't fear God. If you fear God, then you will hate sin. Number two, somebody who submits to an earthly authority. If they don't submit to authority, there will be the alpha and the omega in their house, in your house, and you will have it rough. And then somebody who truly has deep passion for you. And I've quoted Proverbs 31:29, that all women, other women have done noble things, but you have done the best. A person who is proud of you. And finally, marry a young man who is responsible. And I've said responsibility does not mean that he has a car, that he has a big job, but somebody who takes responsibility and says, if this family has to succeed, then it is up to me. If you're like that, ladies, my sisters, chances are that you will have a happy and fruitful marriage. I know men are feeling bad outside there, but next week I'll speak to the men. What do you look for in a woman before you say yes? And I want to plead to the young men. You can make all other mistakes if you must make, but don't make a mistake when it comes to marriage. Enter that institution with a lot of wisdom and prayerfully, and look for a lot of counsel, a lot of advice, and the Lord will bless you. I want to pray that you will all have successful marriages outside there, that none of you will regret because you made a wrong choice in marriage. Thank you so much. The Lord bless you. Asante sana.